My husband bought a new house without me. Now he's furious I refuse to move in unless my name is on it. He says it's just paperwork. I say it's my future. Emma, a 32-year-old woman with a warm smile and a head full of curly auburn hair, sat in her cozy living room, surrounded by the scent of freshly baked cookies and the faint sound of their 15-month-old daughter, Lily, giggling from the nursery. Her eyes scanned the room, taking in the memories painted on the walls, each one a reminder of her decade-long journey in this starter home. It was a modest space, filled with love and the quiet confidence that came from building something of her own. Her husband, Mark, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a gentle demeanor, walked in, his footsteps echoing in the hallway. He was carrying a set of blueprints, a glint of excitement in his eyes that was tinged with a hint of nervousness. "Hey, Em, check these out," he said, spreading the papers across the coffee table. "I found the perfect place. Plans for a man cave, a home office for me to work from, and a big backyard for Lily to play in." Emma leaned over, her curiosity piqued. "It's beautiful," she said, her voice soft. "But, Mark, we've talked about this. We need to think about the school district, and whether we can really afford it." Mark's enthusiasm didn't waver. "Don't worry, love, I've got it all figured out. We can use the equity from this place for the down payment. And with me being a first-time homebuyer, we can save on closing costs." Emma felt a knot tighten in her stomach. "But, Mark, what about my name on the deed?" she asked, her voice steady. Mark's smile faltered. "What do you mean?" "I need my name on the new house," she said firmly. "This is our home. We're in this together." The room grew still as Mark's expression shifted from surprise to frustration. "You don't trust me, do you?" he said, his voice rising slightly. "You think I'd just leave you with nothing?" Emma took a deep breath, her eyes never leaving the blueprints. "It's not about trust," she said, her voice calm but resolute. "It's about protection. For me, and for Lily." Mark's gaze drifted to the floor, his shoulders slumping. "I don't understand why you can't just trust me," he murmured, his frustration palpable. "This is a great opportunity for us." "I do trust you," Emma replied, placing a hand on his arm. "But I've worked hard for this home, and I won't put all that aside without being a co-owner of the new one." The silence between them grew heavier, filled with unspoken words and the weight of their differing perspectives. Emma knew that Mark had never had to struggle for stability, having been born into a family that could provide for his every need. She, on the other hand, had clawed her way up from a lower middle-class background, determined to give Lily the security she had never had. "Look," she began, her voice gentle but firm, "I know you mean well, and I support your need for your own space. But we need to do this right. We can find a way to make it work for both of us." Mark's eyes met hers, a mix of hurt and confusion. "But the savings," he protested weakly. Emma squeezed his arm. "We'll find another way," she assured him. "We can use the equity without it being just in your name. Maybe we can get a better rate with both of us on the mortgage." The tension in the room began to dissipate as Mark nodded slowly. "Okay," he said, his voice low. "I just don't want to lose out on this opportunity." Emma leaned in and kissed his cheek. "We won't," she promised. "We'll figure it out together." And with that, the conversation ended, leaving the question of the new house hanging in the air like a delicate thread waiting to be woven into the tapestry of their future. Over the next few days, Emma did her research, looking into co-ownership options and speaking with financial advisors. She knew that her husband's heart was in the right place, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to protect herself and their daughter. Mark, on the other hand, retreated into his work, the unresolved issue creating a subtle rift between them. One evening, Emma found him in the backyard, staring at the stars with a look of contemplation on his face. She approached him with a glass of lemonade, handing it to him with a tentative smile. "We need to talk," she said, sitting down beside him. Mark took a deep breath before responding. "I know," he said, his voice measured. "I've been thinking about it too. I get it, I do. I just never thought you'd doubt me like that." Emma reached for his hand. "It's not about doubt," she explained. "It's about security. You had your family's support growing up, and I had to fight for everything. I don't want that for Lily. I don't want her to have to go through what I did if something were to happen." He nodded, understanding flickering in his eyes. "I've been looking into it," he said, "and I think I found a way we can both get what we want. A joint ownership, with both our names on the deed. It might mean we don't save as much on closing costs, but it's important to you." The tightness in Emma's chest eased as she felt a warmth spread through her. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for listening." Together, they sat in the quiet of the night, sipping their drinks and watching their daughter's shadow play across the bedroom window. The stars above twinkled in the vastness of the sky, a silent witness to their evolving understanding. The following week, they met with a real estate attorney who outlined the details of a joint tenancy with rights of survivorship. This would ensure that if anything happened to one of them, the other would automatically become the full owner of the house. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a step in the right direction. As they drove home, Emma felt a sense of relief wash over her. "You know," she said, glancing at Mark, "this might just be the push we need to work on our communication." He chuckled, a hint of his old self returning. "Yeah," he said. "Maybe we could both learn a thing or two." The tension between them had eased, and as they pulled into the driveway of their current home, Emma realized that their foundation was stronger than she had thought. It had just needed a bit of reinforcement to stand the test of time. The next day, Mark called a meeting with their financial advisor. They sat around the dining table, the blueprints of their dream home spread out before them. Mark's voice was steady as he presented the new plan. "We're going to put both our names on the deed," he announced. "It's only fair." The advisor nodded thoughtfully. "It's a wise choice," she said, her eyes shifting between them. "And it'll provide that sense of security you're looking for, Emma." The following weeks were a blur of paperwork and appointments, but Emma felt a growing sense of empowerment with each signature she made. She knew that her voice had been heard and that Mark had truly understood the depth of her concerns. When the day came to put in an offer on the new house, Emma felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Mark's hand was firm in hers as they stood outside the realtor's office. "Ready?" he asked, looking into her eyes. "Ready," she said with a firm nod. As they signed the offer, Emma couldn't help but think about the future. This house would be theirs, a place where they would watch Lily grow and thrive, where they would host the kind of parties that filled the air with laughter and music, just like the ones Mark had cherished from his childhood. But it would also be a symbol of their partnership, a testament to the fact that they had faced a challenge and come out stronger on the other side. And as they drove home, Emma knew that the journey ahead would be filled with more than just the thrill of a new house. It would be a journey of growth, of learning to navigate their different financial backgrounds, and of building a life that was truly theirs together. Their disagreement had led them to a place of mutual respect and understanding. They had learned to balance their individual needs with the needs of their family, and in doing so, they had found a deeper love for each other. As they pulled into the driveway, Lily toddled out to greet them, her chubby arms reaching for her mother's legs. Mark picked her up, swinging her into the air as she squealed with delight. The sound of her laughter was the sweetest music to Emma's ears. In that moment, she knew that no matter what the future held, their little family was unshakable, grounded in the foundation of love and shared dreams. And she was ready to face it all, side by side with the man she had chosen to build a life with. In the months that followed, they worked tirelessly to prepare for the move. Mark took charge of the renovation plans, eager to create the perfect man cave and office, while Emma focused on the finer details like choosing the right school for Lily and ensuring that the house was a warm, welcoming space that reflected their personalities. Their discussions were now more collaborative, each one a chance to learn from the other's perspective. The house hunting process was not without its challenges. They viewed countless properties, each one a potential canvas for their future, but none quite captured their hearts until they found the one. It was a spacious 4-bedroom, nestled in a community with top-rated schools and a strong sense of neighborliness. The backyard was vast, and Emma could already envision Lily's laughter echoing through the trees as she played with her friends. Their offer was accepted, and the reality of their new life began to set in. Mark's parents offered to help with the down payment, a gesture that touched Emma deeply. Despite their differing views on finances, she knew that they cared for her and Lily, and she was grateful for their support. Yet, she remained firm on her stance, insisting that the house be in both their names. It was a small price to pay for the peace of mind she felt in knowing she had a stake in their new beginning. The move was a whirlwind of cardboard boxes and late-night assembling of furniture. Yet through it all, the love between them remained steadfast. They painted the walls of Lily's new room together, a soft shade of lavender that seemed to hold the promise of sweet dreams and happy days ahead. They laughed as they painted over each other's mistakes, and Mark whispered sweet nothings in her ear, making her blush just as he had when they were first dating. When the final box was unpacked and the last piece of furniture arranged, they stood in the middle of the living room, holding hands. Lily toddled over to them, a wide grin on her face as she clutched a handful of her favorite toys. "Home," she said, her voice a tiny declaration of victory. And it was, a home that was truly theirs, built on the foundation of trust, understanding, and a love that had grown through the storms of their financial disagreements. As they looked around at the walls that now held their history and their hopes, Emma knew that no amount of money or savings could ever compare to the value of the security and partnership they had found in each other. Their journey was far from over, but they had taken the first step into a new chapter. A chapter that would surely be filled with joy, challenges, and the occasional squabble, but always, always, with the unshakable bond of a family that had learned to stand together, no matter what the world threw their way. The first night in the new house, Emma and Mark lay in bed, their hearts racing with excitement and a hint of exhaustion. Lily was asleep in her crib, her gentle snores a comforting lullaby. They talked about their dreams for the house, the memories they would make, and the parties they would host. Their laughter was the first sound to fill the cavernous halls of their new home, bouncing off the freshly painted walls. The months that followed saw the house transform from a collection of empty rooms to a warm, inviting space that reflected their personalities. The man cave, with its high-definition TV and state-of-the-art gaming setup, became a sanctuary for Mark. It was his escape from the stresses of work and a place where he could be a kid again, inviting friends over for weekend game nights. Meanwhile, Emma had turned the backyard into a wonderland for Lily, with a swing set, sandbox, and a small vegetable garden that she hoped would instill in their daughter the same sense of pride she felt for her starter home. But the most significant change was in their relationship. They had learned to communicate openly about their financial fears and aspirations. Mark began to understand the importance of financial stability that had been so deeply ingrained in Emma from her upbringing. And Emma grew to appreciate Mark's desire to provide for his family, even if it meant making sacrifices along the way. They started to plan their financial future together, setting goals that aligned with their shared vision of a happy, secure life. As they watched Lily grow, Emma knew that she had made the right decision. Every time she looked at the house, she saw not just bricks and mortar but a symbol of their unity. They had created a space where their daughter could grow up knowing that she was loved and valued, that she had a place in the world, and that no matter what life threw at her, she would always have a home to come back to. Their new house was more than just a building. It was a monument to their love and their commitment to each other. It was a testament to the fact that even when the ground beneath them shifted, they had managed to stand firm, holding on to each other for balance. And as they drifted off to sleep that night, Emma felt a sense of contentment that she had never known before. For she knew that she had not just bought a house, she had bought a future filled with love, security, and a family that was truly her own. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, and soon enough, the house was bustling with the energy of a growing child. Lily's laughter echoed through the hallways, and the sound of her little feet pattering across the hardwood floors became the rhythm of their lives. Mark's office was no longer a mere concept but a place where he could work in peace, the occasional giggle from the man cave next door a reminder of the joy that awaited him when the workday was done. Emma had also found her place in the new house. The kitchen, with its large island and open layout, became her domain, a place where she could whip up meals for her family while keeping an eye on the chaos of life unfolding around her. And as she cooked, she thought about the conversation they had had about the house and the future. It was a stark contrast to the quiet nights she had spent in her starter home, dreaming of the life she now lived. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There were moments of stress, of course, bills to be paid, decisions to be made, and the occasional squabble about whose turn it was to take out the trash. But they faced these challenges as a team, each one bringing their own strengths to the table. And as they navigated the ups and downs of homeownership, they grew closer, their bond solidifying into something unshakable. The house was more than a shelter. It was a stage on which the drama of their lives played out. It saw their fights, their tears, and their reconciliations. It held the secrets of their fears and the whispers of their hopes. It was a place where love grew roots, reaching down into the very foundation that supported them. And as they lay in bed at night, Emma would often reach over to Mark, her hand finding his, and give it a gentle squeeze. "Thank you," she would murmur, her voice filled with emotion. "For what?" he would ask, his voice groggy with sleep. "For listening," she would say. "For understanding. For making this home with me." And in the darkness, she would feel his hand tighten around hers, a silent promise that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. The house grew with them, each room bearing the imprint of their shared experiences. The walls held the echoes of their laughter, the scent of their love, and the warmth of their family. And as they watched Lily take her first steps, Emma knew that she had given her daughter a gift that no amount of money could buy. A home, a place where she could grow, learn, and love. A place that was, in every way that truly mattered, theirs. Their journey was still unfolding, each day a new page in the story of their lives. But as they lay in the quiet of their new house, Emma felt a sense of peace that she had never felt before. For she knew that she had not just found a place to live, she had found a place to belong. And in that knowledge, she felt more alive than she had ever been. The house was theirs, a fortress against the world, a bastion of warmth and love. It was a place where they could be themselves, where they could grow old together, and watch their daughter become a woman. And as they drifted off to sleep, Emma knew that she had made the right choice. For she had not just bought a house, she had bought a future filled with love and the promise of a life well lived. The months rolled by, and with them, came the seasons. They watched as the first leaves of spring painted the backyard, and as the summer sun kissed the grass, turning it a golden hue. They watched Lily take her first wobbly steps across the living room floor, her chubby hands reaching out for theirs. They saw the joy in her eyes when she discovered the magic of snow in winter, the way her laughter filled the house, and the way she looked at them with unbridled love and trust. But with every joy, there were challenges. The house required maintenance, the occasional leaky faucet or wonky door that needed fixing. And there were the financial decisions, the endless discussions about savings and investments, and the balancing act of providing for the present without sacrificing the future. Yet, they faced each hurdle as a team, their love for each other and their daughter a beacon that guided them through the storms. One evening, as they sat in the man cave, the smell of popcorn and the sound of a favorite movie filling the air, Mark turned to her. "You know," he said, his voice filled with a mix of admiration and awe, "I never knew how much I needed this. A home that's truly ours. A place where we can build our legacy." Emma looked at him, her heart swelling with love. "Me neither," she whispered. "But here we are." Their eyes met, and in that moment, they knew that their house was not just a building. It was a living, breathing testament to their partnership, a symbol of the life they had built together. It was a place where they could be themselves, where they could grow old together, surrounded by the love of their family and the warmth of their shared memories. The years went by, and the house grew with them. It was the backdrop for countless birthdays, Christmas mornings, and Easter egg hunts. It was the setting for late-night heart-to-hearts, the stage for first loves and heartaches, and the place where they would all come together to celebrate life's victories and mourn its losses. And through it all, Emma knew that she had made the right decision. For she had not just bought a house, she had bought a home, a place where she belonged. And so, their story continued, each page more beautiful than the last. They watched Lily grow from a toddler to a young girl, her eyes sparkling with curiosity and her heart full of love. They watched as she made friends in the neighborhood, as she learned to ride a bike, and as she started school in the district they had worked so hard to be a part of. They watched as she grew, and with her, their love grew too. The house had become more than a shelter. It was a canvas for their dreams, a vessel for their love, and a sanctuary where they could always find refuge. And as they stood on the porch, hand in hand, watching the sun set on another perfect day, Emma knew that she had found not just a home, but a place where she could truly be herself. A place where she could live, laugh, and love, without fear of ever being left with nothing. Their life was not perfect, but it was theirs, and as they stepped inside, the door closing behind them with a comforting click, they knew that they had built something beautiful together, something that would stand the test of time, something that was truly priceless. Their house was not just a collection of bricks and mortar, it was a testament to their love, a monument to their partnership, and a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed so cold and unforgiving. It was a place where they had learned to stand together, to face their fears, and to build a life that was truly their own. And as they settled into the embrace of their home, Emma knew that she had made the right choice all those years ago. For she had not just bought a house, she had bought a future filled with love, security, and a family that was unshakable.